This video is just a courtesy. It's not gonna happen. Neither of these guys are gonna get offer sheeted. I thoroughly believe that in my heart of hearts. However, because it's a topic that people are talking about, this video is the courtesy where we just go out there and we talk about it once and we never ever talk about it again, because it's probably not gonna happen. Yeah, I'll say it right there. Cale Makar, Elias Pettersson, back-to-back picks, 4th and 5th overall at the 2017 NHL entry draft. Yeah, they're not going to get offer sheeted. I'm calling it right here. And I mean, if they do, then I guess there's got to be some repercussions, right? If that does happen and I'm wrong about it, I don't know. I'll just deal with the shame afterwards when that eventually does happen, if it does, which I don't believe it will. But today we're talking about the offer sheet, once again, because we know that offer sheets are so common in the NHL that it's definitely worth talking about in a conversation-like form, as if they're happening all the time. Oh wait, no, they happen like once every decade. Offer sheets are the process of trying to sign another NHL team's restricted free agent to a contract so he can join your own team, and you give up compensation in the draft as a result. Here is the current draft compensation list. It was put in Elliot Friedman's 31 Thoughts the other day. It's actually a little bit different from what we have had before because the flat cap is here. It's a thing where the cap is not going to go up for a few years, and the entire uncertainty with the landscape of the NHL's financial movement today is indeed a prerequisite as to why we even have changes to the system. So, from $1.356 million or below, you have no compensation. So if you sign an offer sheet for a guy that's less than 1.356, you don't give up anything. From 1.356 to 2.055, it's a third-round pick. 2.055 to 4.1, it's a second. So you can go out there, $2.5 million, okay, 2.75, okay, 3.75, $4 million, it's all a second-round pick as compensation. 4.1 to 6.1 is a first and a third, 6.1 to 8.2 is a first, second, and a third, and then you go up to $10.2 million, just underneath that is 2 firsts, a second, and a third, and then 10.2 plus is 4 first-round picks. Now, if the same rules of the offer sheet still apply, you need to have all of these picks of your own team in order to actually make an offer sheet. If you don't have your first this year, for example, but you have another team's first, you're not allowed to use an offer sheet that is over $4.1 million because you don't have your own first. Now, you might have your next firsts, but I don't believe it works that way where you can just say, okay, here's our 2025 first. You have to do it for the one this year. And so we get over to our conversation today, Elias Pettersson and Cale Makar. As we noted, 2 back-to-back picks in the 2017 draft. Cale Makar is a very good player. Yeah, he's probably one of my favorite players not on the Vancouver Canucks alongside of Matthew Barzal and Cole Caulfield, but he was an absolute beast this season with the Colorado Avalanche. The #1 defenseman on that team, bar none, an absolute workhorse with some crazy offensive skills. He was a literal point-per-game player flat. 44 points in 44 games in the regular season, 10 points in 10 games in the playoffs. He's an absolute monster, and he's 22 years old at $0 right now on the AAV because he does not have a contract. We had an article that came out on TSN the other day going over the entire Cale Makar angle. It's from Pierre LeBrun. There's a video attached to it. I will leave a link in the description so you can go ahead, watch the video if you want, read the little excerpt itself, but we're going to be going over it here in this video. Pierre LeBrun says that the Avalanche are guarding against a Cale Makar offer sheet. All eyes in Colorado are on Makar. He is not going anywhere. Let's be clear on that. In talking with some other different sources around the league, I've learned that if there's one player that potentially gets an offer sheet this offseason, some people believe it will be Cale Makar. Part of this is because of the Avalanche's juggling of a lot of different things. Gabe Landeskog's contract is up. We know that Brandon Saad's is too. He may or may not be able to stay. Vezina Trophy finalist Philip Grubauer is a pending UFA, and of course a year from now Colorado needs to be under the cap to sign Nathan MacKinnon to a monster extension. So what is the contract that makes sense to get Makar to sign with Colorado? Make no question about it, Makar wants to stay with the team, but there are some who believe that if Makar's deal isn't done right away on July 28th, there may be teams that come calling. Colorado internally is guarding against this. And I guess we kind of have it right there. He wants to stick around, he wants to be in Colorado. And if any offer sheet comes his way, who's to say that he's just going to deny it? You gotta remember, for offer sheets, it's not just, oh, a team made an offer sheet, oh, big news. It's the player actually has to sign the contract in order for it to actually go through. And furthermore, if it's come out here that the Avalanche are just straight up guarding the idea of Cale Makar even receiving one, I think there's probably no risk attached to Makar and the offer sheet in general. Now, for the guy who was drafted after him, Vancouver Canucks Elias Pettersson, I'll say this right here. PD would really surprise me if he goes out and signs an offer sheet. He said a whole bunch that he wants to be here. He likes Vancouver, and Vancouver is really opening up to him. He's hanging out with rappers and social media influencers here in Vancouver, Twitch streaming, playing Scriblio with BB No Money, and singing Christmas carols with Michael Bublé. It would really surprise me if Elias Pettersson, of all people, decides to sign an offer sheet to leave Vancouver. This same article with the Cale Makar stuff from Pierre LeBrun also talks about some stuff with the Canucks and Quinn Hughes and Pettersson. It's Darren Dreger's time to shine, and he says this. CAA Hockey's JP Barry and Pat Brisson, who represent Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes, are expected to reconnect with Jim Benning and the Vancouver Canucks this week. There are all kinds of options being considered for both Petey and Hughes. If you look at Petey, something being considered is a 3-year bridge deal that looks something along the lines of Matthew Barzal's deal with the New York Islanders or Braden Point's with the Lightning. Pettersson would also consider a deal similar to Mikko Rantanen's 6-year deal with the Avalanche. We're not going to read about Hughes because that guy's not even eligible for an offer sheet, so we're not going to talk about it here. But, there is a conversation to have about Quinn as well. Don't worry, I still love my Quinn Hughes. Matthew Barzal is making $7 million AAV for 3 seasons, and that was always seen as the comparable for Elias Pettersson when it comes to the potential monetary value. And I'm going to say it right here, if you get Elias Pettersson signed to a 7-by-3-year deal, honestly, there are a lot worse deals that you could have signed this kind of guy for. Matthew Barzal, being a very good, very capable center with the New York Islanders, is honestly a pretty good comparable because Petey, in my own personal opinion, is kind of better than Barzal. Sorry, Islanders fans, that's just kind of how I feel. If I had to start a franchise from scratch and I'm choosing Petey or Barzal, I'm going with Petey 100% of the time. Mikko Rantanen, on the other hand, scored himself a $9.25 million 6-year deal. And honestly, if you get Elias Pettersson signed to 6 years by something around that range, it would be tough at the beginning, but honestly, I could live with it. It could be one of those deals where by the time PD is 24 or 25, it could be seen as an absolute steal. Rantanen, you gotta remember, this guy was on pace to being one of the top point producers, in a very long time before he got slowed down in that 2018-19 season. He is still a very capable producer. Sure, playing with McKinnon helps, but Rantanen is still a very good player himself, too. Kind of funny how the two comparables from Elias Pettersson are both 2015 drafted guys, so there's a little bit of a connection there. But the PD offer sheet angle is one that everybody's been kind of talking about too. Oh, the Rangers should offer sheet Pettersson. Oh, the Canadiens should offer sheet Pettersson. They do this, they do that, whatever. Honestly, unless Pettersson goes the Sebastian Aho route, where Sebastian Aho wanted a contract with the Carolina Hurricanes, he wasn't going to get it with the Hurricanes, so he signed that contract with Montreal expecting the Hurricanes to match it, so he would get all the bonuses and all that he wanted to get, that the Hurricanes were not wanting to give it to him, but now they had to because they had to match the offer sheet that Mark Bergevin and co. had signed. If I have to say PD signs an offer sheet, it's gotta be for that kind of reason, because let's be real here, no team is gonna go out there and sign Pettersson to a 10-plus something million dollar deal and give up 4 first-round picks. If they're even discussing something in the realm of the 9.25 6-year deal like Mikko Rantanen is, then who cares if another team comes in with an offer sheet? Vancouver will just match it. If they're already discussing it, I see no reason to go out there and be like, oh, some team has offer sheeted Pettersson to a $9.5 million AAV deal for 6 years? Okay, well, we were already discussing that, so why don't we just go ahead and match it? Furthermore, we have some more rumors about the Canucks and how they're potentially thinking about moving out some other money, which is crazy to think because Jim Benning has never done that before on this team. But if there's a year for firsts, this may be it. Petey and Hughes are 2 of the most important franchise contract negotiations this team will have to do in its entire history, and they're going on at the same time here, represented by the same guys. So for Pettersson to be in this spot where people are talking about an offer sheet left, right, and center, it's not going to happen. Unless a team is willing to overpay $10.2+ million, and PD needs to be receptive to that and actually sign it, I don't think it's going to happen. So talk to me in the comments what you think. Cale Makar, Elias Pettersson, offer sheets. I believe it's not going to happen this year. Talk to me in the comments what you think. I hope you enjoyed this Trolls9. This video is just a courtesy, by the way. So please, nobody go out there tell me, oh, why'd you make a video about this? It's because everybody's talking about it, man. We have to talk about it here. And bye.